slowing down. Yes, we have to start with the statement that this meeting is recorded, so participants will be able to listen to this once again, and then this will be available to you. So good afternoon, basically, because most people are from Poland, I believe, but even we have two nice ladies from London, so it's still afternoon in London as well. So thank you for coming. First of all, I would like to introduce our great friends and Katie Davison Jenkins from CFA Institute, but Katie is based now in London, of course, and then this is for Director for Partnership and Clients of CFA Institute, located in London, and Aisha Silva, she is manager in the same group, also located in London. Thank you for joining us. And there is a team from CFA Society Poland. There's Monica, there's Jakub, there's Aisha. And my name is Krzysztof Jajuga, and I'm academic, but I'm also the president of CFA Society Poland. And we decided to launch this initiative. Well, it's not the first one, but since there are many changes, we will hear about them in CFA programs also, because it's not only flagship CFA program, but there's also some others which will be mentioned at the very end. So we wanted to just to let you know about this. Some of you I know because I see the names and I know the people there. You know a lot already about CFA program, and some of you, the faculty members, you are involved in this program by encouraging students and by also participating in faculty advisors in our competitions. There's one CFA Research Challenge, but there's also our Polish Competition Ethics Challenge, which will be, I think the local, our final will be on the 11th of May, etc., etc. So thank you for coming, and I think without undue delay, I would like to start. So the intention is to present CFA program, CFA Institute also, and then so I will have the presentation in the first part, and then I will ask Katie and Aisha to show the second part, which will be about new changes. There's a lot of changes, so it would be great that we are going to be introducing this change. And finally, I think we'll still have some small time for Q&As. I'm not sure. Maybe this is the possibility that you will put. I would like Jakub to ask: is the possibility that they will put on the chat the questions in this version of Zoom or not?
There is chat, yes. Yes, of course.
Okay, yeah. Because I can see the chat, but I'm not quite sure, since I'm one of the organizers, that also the participants can put the things on chat. But you can put this on chat. You can still probably use your microphone in the Q&A session. So let us start simply without undue delay. And Katie, Aisha, are you okay with this? That we'll start now? Okay. Yes, great. Thanks a lot. So I'm going to start with the sharing screen, and this will be also, I believe, available. But first, let me start with sharing my screen. So I'll have some slides which are not only introductory. It's coming. I think, yeah, it came now, I believe, to the system, so we can see it. And the title of this first part is obviously about CFA program, and here we go. So there are names of presenters, of course, and already we are introduced. And I would only ask you to probably turn off your microphone because I see that some people are still, system shows which people have microphones on, but if you have them off, you'll have the opportunity then to ask the questions later on. Okay, so let's go ahead. So this is, of course, the title page, and then I'll start just one slide about CFA Society Poland, because we are one of the societies, one of the many societies within CFA Institute, local society. I will tell a few words about our society. And first of all, that we established, almost 20 years ago, 19 years ago. The name was Polish Association of Investment Professionals. And basically, we were approved by CFA. At this time, it was not yet called CFA Institute, but it was called Association of Investment Management Research. But then in 2005, if I correctly remember, there was the change name. There was the change of name to CFA Institute. So we are serving our charter holders and also candidates. Some of you are maybe already are candidates. So we serve locally here. Of course, we promote all the missions and visions of CFA Institute, especially two things: ethics, professionalism, and obviously education. I asked Mr. Marek to turn off the microphone. Mr. Marek is in the room, and please turn. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Marek. And also we have what is important, especially after the pandemic, because during pandemic it was more online, but now we have more face-to-face networking platform, some events. So we'll encourage you to look at the website. And we had one event which was 2 days ago. This one is online because we thought that it would be better for students, for candidates, just to give it online, so you don't need to. There's some noise coming, okay, but I hope that it will disappear. It disappeared. Okay, good. And so we thought that it will be easier for you be online just to learn rather than traveling to nice place and spend maybe half a day just for travel, etc. So we take care about these standards, ethics. Ethics is important, professionalism is important, and basically education. So we are involved in many initiatives in the area of financial education, not necessarily only CFA programs, but also some programs which are related to general programs in financial education, not for the people who want to be financial analysts, but also just for regular people. Okay, so I'm going to go to very brief overview of CFA Institute. As I said, the name was coined in 2005, if I believe, but basically the organization started 60 or more than 60. It started many years ago, shortly after the Second World War. But CFA program first exam took place in 1963, so it's 60 years old, right? I think there are two main things that are connected together leads to the success of our organization. First of all, there are educated and ethical. Again, these two things: education and ethics. Investment professionals. So we deal mostly with. I'm sorry, I have to ask to turning off microphone still for some people. So we deal with investment, of course, with financial investment. We touch also real investment, and then we work with the financial markets. If the financial market operates ethically and also efficiently, then we have global financial markets, where first of all investors' interests come first. Markets function at the best way, and also this will help economies to grow, because the connection of financial market, of course, with the economy, the real economy it's very tight. It's seen in very many countries, including Poland, of course. So that's very important. Now this is our network. So plenty of different participants. First of all, there is 190 or more, 190,000 CFA charter holders, and each year about 300,000 candidates that are taking exam in particular year. It slowed down very slightly during pandemic, because during pandemic one exam was canceled because of obviously of the reasons of virus. But now we are back. We have been back already for 2 years at least. And now the exams are computer based, so you don't need to travel to some one place in the country or several places in the country that is available. You just go to the computer center and details will be given later. There's more than 160 societies worldwide. We are one of them, of course. We belong to the region of EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and basically sub-region will be EMEA East, and especially here, this region, which is Central Eastern Europe. Again, I said that very many years ago. It was established in 1947. I think there were 5 societies in the United States, including Chicago, including Philadelphia, New York, and they built this kind of organization. And then after some years, after more than a dozen years, they launched the first exam in 1963. 25,000 more than firms employ charter holders. And what is also important for you especially, there's now at this moment more than 750 affiliated universities. What we mean by affiliated university, this is university that has program which covers substantial part of CFA program. I mean, for the generally 70% at least, For ethics, it should be 100% of material that should be covered in classes. And in Poland, we really now have 5 such universities. I remember when my university, Wrocław University of Economics and Business, we were in the first 100 of affiliated universities, and then there was the decision that there more and more universities should join us, and I think it works pretty well. And also, what is important, programs are recognized by 60 plus regulators. And I should tell you that in Poland, the CFA charter holders, of course, they are recognized, but they could take test, which is 1.5 hour test, with some questions related only to the Polish legal regulations, because everything else is covered by CFA program. And if they pass this, actually today, they show results of the last exam, which took place a week ago or something like this. And there was more than 50% people passed this, and CFA charter holders, they got the license of Polish investment advisor, not taking 3 huge exams, but just taking 1 test, which completes this, because CFA program has no regulations. It's worldwide program, so you should stick to the jurisdictions which are in a particular country. And of course, strategies of CFA Institute is very simple. We would say future professionals, the programs that are very, very widely, especially CFA program, because that's what I'm talking about mostly. There is high level of high standards of entry. I mean, the exam is not very easy, but again, people are passing these exams, etc., etc. Then there's the next thing is, of course, members of. When you can be a member of CFA Institute without even charter. But when you have charter, you have to be. But you can be when you don't have charter, but you think that this is nice to be a member because it gives you some benefits in terms of material, etc., in terms of networking. Again, I have to ask person who is on the phone now, on mobile. Oh yeah, now thank you very much. And then building market integrity. Again, integrity is closely related to ethics, of course, and that will benefit investors, but that will benefit also society. So one of the missions, main mission actually of the CFA Institute is to serve for the ultimate benefits of society. So ethics, professional education, but for the ultimate benefits of society, not only maybe participants in financial market. Investors, of course, they are very important stakeholders, but that should serve also to the rest of society. Okay, these are the numbers. I mean, these numbers are they are not actual numbers. There's more of this, but they came from the last year, because usually there is a renewal process, etc. So we will know the numbers for this year very, very soon. But what it says, first of all, there are 3 regions in the world. There's Americas. North and South, Latin. There's EMEA, I mentioned this, and there's Asia Pacific. By Asia Pacific, we mean East Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong, China, India, and of course, Australia and New Zealand is Pacific. And you see that the structure of members is, 57%. There are most members are from America still, because it started as North American standard, and last 25 years, I think it became world standard, definitely. So it's not only US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, but it's also all the world. And you see the growing number of candidates. If you see candidates, the most candidates are coming from Asia Pacific. Of course, the significant role is played by China and India, because these are very large countries. But even if you see societies, there are not that many societies in Asia Pacific. But it's very region that develops very much, and you see these numbers here. Okay, now a little bit of CFA charter. This is still my part, which I want to cover. CFA charter is this is a nice statement from Financial Times here. This is a statement from 2000, I don't know, 11 or something like this, and it says, among the countless finance degrees, there are very, very many finance degrees in the world. From excellent degrees to some degrees which are not so good, depending on different universities. But CFA qualification became the gold standard. It's like, you know, what's gold standard, of course, from the area of currencies, etc. Gold standard, but gold standard became now the word for something that is universally accepted and has some quality. So I believe the Financial Times said this, and also I think the very similar statement was given by the Economist, the journal Economist. I think that that is big asset. Okay, the value of the charter. There are many things. You see, I mentioned global passport, of course. I mentioned network. I mentioned ethical foundation. I mentioned gold standard. Also, career resources. I didn't mention this yet, but you know, you get access to career guides, so it will be much easier to get nice job, probably if you are related somehow to CFA charter, maybe you are a charter holder, but if you are on some process stage, third level, second level, it's still benefit, and it's still, you should put this in your CV. Okay, now, this is the path to become a CFA charter holder. Some of you know it probably, and that didn't change basically. So there are new changes, but not related to what you should do. You should pass 3 levels of the exam basically. Okay, there's no time limit for this, so you can spend, you know, I encourage, of course, that you do it in 3 years maybe, but you can do it in 20 years or 10 years, whatever. Okay, but that's not it. Of course, you need to apply for membership, and then for membership at CFA Institute, and particularly you go through society, and I will simply encourage also you to become, when you got your charter, to become member of Polish Society, CFA Society Poland. How would you do this after passing exams, or during passing exams also? You have to have 4,000 hours of professional work experience. And that is, of course, what is professional work experience? Anything that is related by investment decision making, basically. So if you are, for example, I'm a professor of finance and I teach these things. So this is also counted towards professional work experience. If the right doctoral thesis in investment, this is qualified. Of course, if you are portfolio manager, if you are analyst, everything, there's a whole bunch, you know, more than 100 different positions that are qualified for this. And of course, there's a list available. Then you need to have also 2 to 3 references who will say, yes, this person was analyst in our company, prepared some reports, etc., etc. So it wouldn't qualify for your professional experience if you work in investment company, but you are, you know, let's in PR department, public relations or investment relations. That might be not investment decision making, but don't worry about this because that can be somehow improved. Okay, that's it as far as what you should do, and you become new charter holder, which I strongly recommend. What can I do with CFA charter? And there is good news that, of course, there are, you know, this is separation into two criteria. First of all, what kind of products, what kind of investment products you are dealing with when this is for whole world, by the way. So it may be different in different countries, of course, but you know, basically, first group is equities, 33% equities. And then there are other instruments, of course, debt instruments, and there's fixed income, and some others. You see, derivatives, the hedge funds, etc. So most of these things are related to financial instruments or financial, how to say, structures, I would say, and that's it. There is something which says non-applicable, so maybe there are some other people are doing also other jobs because the qualification is on one hand deep, on the other hand is very wide. And there are some others. So you may be consultant for companies not dealing maybe explicitly with the financial instruments, but dealing with some structures related to finance in the company. And then the second, criterion is job roles by the title. So what you would do. Traditionally, since this was emerging in the United, and this was American standard, North American standard. So many people tended to be employed as either portfolio managers, and still 20%, but not 100%, 20%, 21%. And then there are, of course, analysts, research analysts, widely understood. So it's serious analysis. It's very serious analysis. Those of you who saw reports prepared by students on CFA Research Challenge, you see they are really serious reports. And then you have other jobs. You see consultant, general consultant in finance, risk analyst, A financial advisor, I think this is growing also business. Financial advisors, so people who are dealing with wealth management, advising, households. This is also, the qualification they get by CFA program will help you a lot to do this. And I think our ladies, Katie and Aisha, will tell you about some even enhancement in this area, which will be in the changes. So that's basically it. And I think it may differ with respect to countries. Definitely, I think that from my view, I'm feeling that countries like Poland, that is even more diversified. There are even more, of course, there are portfolio managers and there are research analysts, by no doubt. But there's, we have some number of our members. There are CFOs, chief financial officers. They have CFA charter, but they work as a financial manager, CFO, chief financial officer. There are risk analysts, etc., etc. Okay, let's go on. This is again, this is for whole world. Top global employers who employs the most. You see, there are, of course, there are banks, but there are also asset management companies. Again, mostly this came from not all of them are typical Americans, of course, because there are also some more Europeans, but these names are very well known, right? Okay. And then employers are seeking charter holders because they like charter holders. And this are some statement from, from very well-known bank, invest on the Goldman Sachs. You have Bank of America and Merrill Lynch. They merged together after 2008. And then there's BlackRock, one of this big three, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, big three institutions in terms of, investment funds, etc. And everything here mentioned when they seek for the new candidates for the work, CFA is mentioned. It would be preliminary asset, of course. It would be helpful, or sometimes it's even that is even required. Of course, that would be true for some positions. What are the benefits? Again, I mentioned some of them, but of course, expertise. If you don't particularly manage portfolios, but if you learn about different things in investment decision making, that may even help you in your own investments to some extent. Trust and accountability, ethical standards are supposed to be, and they are very, very high. So we think that the CFA charter holders, they will be professionals also in ethical standards. And ethical standards are those of you who prepared for the exam, maybe, or you look at the book. There are 22 standards, basically grouped in 7 groups. And I think there'll be also some small amendments, even stronger, very, very recently, because we are consulted about this. And of course, recognition and relevance. There is update almost each year, I believe. The pandemic, 1 year of pandemic was, of course, a little bit different, but there is update each year. There is amendment, and and people who are coming. Of course, you should not change everything year by year, because that would be, not profitable. But if there are new things, and particularly I see in the last few years, basically 3-4 years, there is a growing interest, not growing interest, but materials were equipped with this, with the things from big data, from machine learning, from everything related to algorithms. And I still think that we are going to have it in some future. That's my feeling. A little bit about not only typical machine learning, which has been around for 50, 60 years in the world. There's nothing new about machine learning, but about also natural language processing. People now in the last several months, whole world get excited by something that is called GPT. And I think that we shouldn't leave it as it is. We will be this is my personal statement. Sorry, this is not about what will happen in CFA program, but that's my personal statement. Okay. And then the last thing about CFA program, this is probably my last slide, and ladies will tell you concrete things about the changes. There are 3 levels. First level is foundational. So you learn about, you have to pass exam of investment tools. Those people who are studying in good programs, finance programs, you have all these things in your studies: quantitative methods, time value of money, statistics, economics, micro, macro, financial reporting and analysis, going strongly into the area of international financial reporting standards, and corporate finance. Of course, financial instruments as well. So that's the first level, is testing of knowledge. Second level is about analytics. So it's about how you apply this in particular areas. And there are 4 areas, flagship areas: equities, fixed income, which is bonds, debt, etc., derivatives, and alternatives. By alternatives, we mean commodities, we mean real estate, we mean hedge funds, we mean private equity, we mean infrastructure, stuff like this. And finally, the third level, which is, you know, combination of everything, you have to make decisions. So you have to build all your knowledge and all your knowledge about how to value these assets into portfolio management, and also, you see, wealth planning. So it will be managing the portfolios of, let's say, financial institutions like investment funds, mutual funds, but also wealth planning for individual investors, not necessarily even very wealthy investors, because the word wealth might mean that, oh, I should be very wealthy. Not necessarily the case, right? Okay, so I think this is it from my side. I will just stop the presentation, and I think, Katie, Aisha, the screen is yours, and so you can go on, and then Q&A will come after your presentation.
Thank you. I'm just sharing my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen now.
I think it's seen. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's seen. It's seen.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for inviting us to share these changes with you today. We are delighted by the interest that you've expressed, and thank you to CFA Society Poland for hosting us. I will quickly cover the key changes of the programme and provide a brief overview of the candidate resources before I hand over to my colleague Aisha, who's going to provide an overview of the work experience process, and also briefly introduce some of our new programmes, which may become relevant later in your professional development as you specialise in areas such as ESG and AI. So, before we do get started, I just want to reiterate that these 6 changes are the biggest and most significant changes, and they're a result of consulting with our industry partners, university practitioners, charter holders, regulators. So we haven't taken it lightly. We have been in contact with them through focus groups, interviews and surveys. And it's really just to ensure that we're at best addressing now the needs of employers and of our learners. So let me just move through and provide the list so you can see. So in a nutshell, what you can see here is the list of changes that we're making. Our key objective is making sure that CFA brand remains robust in the future as it has in the past. So because this is a globally recognised credential, it has become important for you to, when you become a charter holder, you want to be confident that the skills that you have achieved are relevant and recognised by your employers and your clients. So I'm going to start with the first 2, which I think are the most exciting introduction, and they are the practice skills modules and also followed up by the specialist pathways. So practice skills modules, these are going to be included at every level of the programme. Currently, these are available for level 1 and level 2, but we are developing these for level 3 as well. So these are going to be 10 to 15 hours of learning that are focused on the application of what you've learned in the curriculum. It'll tend to be a video followed by a quiz or short exercise, and you're required to complete one of the 2 in order to receive your exam result. So the practice skills module isn't actually assessed, but you are required to experience the full module before you have completed the level. You are able to take both if you wish, but it's only one that's necessary. Now, at level 1, you can choose to do financial modelling. So that's how to build a financial model in a spreadsheet, how to evaluate a company, revenue costs, etc. Or you can choose to take Python programming fundamentals. And this is an introductory course on Python. It's how to set up an environment, how to work with variables and data types, functions. So those 2 are available at level 1. And then at level 2, as you can see here, you can choose to opt for Python, Data Science and AI. And this is a more advanced Python course to the one that you would have taken at level 1. So this includes financial data scraping, wrangling, cleaning, data ingestion, so pulling in financial statement data. And it's a very practical application of Python in the investment industry. Alternatively, you can choose to do the Python fundamentals if you didn't do this at level 1. So that would be the introductory. And then the third option, which is particularly interesting for those that are seeking an analyst career, this is a day in the life. So it's covering how to identify critical factors of a stock, generate insights, choose the right valuation methodology. It's communicating stock calls and information and time management. So it's really valuable if you do plan on having a career as an analyst. And as I said, for level 3, we haven't quite finalized those yet, but the time that you get there, they will be available. So these practice skills modules will be available for level 1 in the February 24 exam, and for level 2 in the May 2024 exam. Moving on now to the Specialist Pathways edition. So this is a big change to level 3. So predominantly what you can do is choose to go down the original route of portfolio management. This is a traditional program that we have today and have had for the last 75 years. Alternatively, you can move into private markets, so private equity and private debt, or you can specialize in the private wealth market. So all 3 paths, there's not an easy or a difficult, all 3 paths have the common core of the program, so 2/3, which is where the candidate is required to apply all of the knowledge that they've acquired in level 1 and level 2, in asset allocation, portfolio construction, performance measurement. And then the final third is the specialism that you desire to choose. And that's based obviously on your career preference and focus at the time. You do not need to decide which pathway you want to select until you register for level 3. So there's plenty of time. So just move on to the third. So when we're talking about a focused curriculum, what do we mean? Well, what we're trying to say here is that we want to make learning as efficient and interesting as possible. And we found that candidates are maxing our 300 suggested hours of study per level. In actual fact, they're reaching around 350 to 400 hours. And really, most of the candidates, 90%, are starting with a base knowledge. They're coming with a degree in finance or economics, a business degree. And so there's quite a lot of duplication of the material that's in level 1 around the sort of microeconomics, financial statements. So what we've done is we're going to remove approximately 12% of this and put it into the pre-reads. So it is available to you if you want to spend extra study time there, sort of recapping or introducing yourselves, but it won't actually be in the curriculum and it won't be assessed. So that's moving into the pre-reads. We do recognise that 10% of our candidates will need to sort of look at this as they are coming from a different humanity. So it's available, but it's not going to be in that main bulk. And so once we've removed these key areas into the pre-reads, but added back in our new practice skills modules, we'll be back up to the 300 suggested hours of study per level. And so now the other thing that we are offering is what we're calling a practice pack. So currently candidates, when they register and access their learning ecosystem, have access to 2 mock exams and practice questions. However, for an additional cost, we are offering at $299 US, 6 extra mock exams, 5 of those as normal, and the 6th is more of an exam day experience. An additional 100 practice questions are available. Now, we appreciate and I anticipate that some people may question the cost around this. And what we want to explain to you is that actually writing these exam questions is very expensive. We're using the the people that write the real exam questions for the live exam. So they are on a par with what you can expect. But also they aren't a necessary component of passing the exam. It's just that we've heard and we're responding to the request for more practice questions. And so that is available, but you don't have to do it. You will still be successful if you just choose to go down the regular learning ecosystem and using our mocks there. It's just an extra resource to make you aware of. Badging. This is successfully recognising our candidates as they're experiencing the programme. So we appreciate that some people find the 3 levels and the work experience very intimidating. You know, it's 1,000 hours outside of their work or study or home life. It's a huge commitment, and on average it takes 3 to 4 years to be successful and pass the chart, become a charter holder. So we do want to recognise candidates on the way, what they're achieving and the new skills that they're gaining. It's not particularly something new. Candidates have been putting on their CV for many years. It's the worst kept secret that, you know, they have achieved level 1, to indicate that to their employers, that they've got that commitment, that level of understanding, that knowledge, those skills. And so what we're doing is we're just reinforcing that, and we're just giving a badge that you can have on your LinkedIn to indicate to your clients, your colleagues, peers, and your employer, obviously, as well, that you're on your way to becoming a charter holder and you're committed to your professional development. And the final amendment is really for any student, university students on the line today. And just to let you know that previously you were only allowed to sign up and sit the CFA program in your final year of your graduate degree. And we've actually brought that forward a year, so you can sign up and sit the exam in your 2nd year of study. And this has really been welcomed by professors and academics all around the globe. It really helps the students fit in with their timeline of graduation. And we have found that actually in the pilot that students did just as well, if not better than their peers, by starting a year earlier. So that's new and available. So that's a quick overview of the key changes. Please do put any questions in the Q&A. These apply for level 1, as I said, in February 24, and for level 2, May 24. So if you are registered and signed up to the November 2023 exam, it's business as usual. These won't come into effect until after then. So that was a summary of the evolution of the CFA programme. We're really excited and confident that these changes are in keeping with what employers and learners require to keep up with the advancements in the industry. And I'm just going to spend a little bit of time here looking over what the current resources are, so you're aware of what the experience would be if you are considering the programme. And also just provide move on, and I shall provide a quick recap of our other programs. So when I first joined CFA in 2013, I remember there being 6 heavy, clunky textbooks. It was all very much, you know, monologue reading. You would have to read through and answer practice questions, and it was very encyclopedic. And so we're pleased to report that we have moved online in keeping with the times, and we have what you can see here on screen as your learning ecosystem. So we found that moving away from just plain text, which was less friendly to our candidates across the globe where English wasn't their first language, and we've now sort of broken it up, digitalized it, put it into bite-sized chunks, and you can I'll talk more on the next page when I show you the screen of some of the other activities that we offer. But I just want to show you the homepage here and point out this middle section, which is the prepare section. And so that's really for those pre-reads that I was discussing earlier. That's where those will be placed. I also just wanted to point out this exam section. So we really recommend that you book your exam, the window, as soon as you have registered, so that you get the date that you want, because obviously there's a week window, and also the test centre that you want. So when we moved onto computer-based testing, we managed to increase our reach from 200 test centres to 450. For those on the call, I suspect the most applicable are the ones that are actually based in Poland, of which there are actually going to be 3. So there's currently one in Krakow and Warsaw. We've got test centres there, but also for the May 23 exam, and excuse my pronunciation, but we are also extending it to Wrocław as well. So there's 3 options in Poland to sit the exam. And before I just jump into the study tools, I just wanted to share this slide with you, which shows how we've extended the applicability to be able to take the exam. So it used to be that you would have 10,000 people in a London conference centre on a Saturday, twice a year, once in June, once in December. And I'm pleased to say, with the big move onto computer-based testing, we've managed to increase those, not only the number of days, because you've got sort of chunks of weeks here, but also the number of opportunities throughout the year. So that best suits in around other people's commitments socially and at work. So for level 1, you can see that there's 5 testing windows. For level 2, there is 4, and for level 3, there are 2 testing windows. In terms of when you can expect to receive your exam result, for levels 1 and level 2, you will receive your exam result within 60 days of sitting the exam, and for level 3, you should have that within 90 days. And this is just a quick glance of the learning portal. So down the side here, you can see your study plan, your lessons. Once you log in, you're able to navigate to the learning modules, the study tools, practice questions, mock exams. The readings have been designed to be complete in bite-sized portions. So if you've got an evening, you can feel that you've really succeeded and finished a section. And in addition, we also offer candidates a personalised learning path. And so this is an adaptive sort of engine that sort of tracks your strengths and weaknesses. And so it will learn sort of where your current capability is and sort of throw questions at you that are in line with where you currently are, so that you're not just regurgitating things that you already know, but you're actually concentrating where you need to be. And as you can see here, you can see as a motivational tool, the number of days left until your exam, and in addition, sort of your progress through the course, and down here, how you're doing in your mock exams and practice tests. Cost. So there is a one-time enrollment fee for CFA program. This is $350 US, which you are required to pay when you register at level 1. You will not have to pay this again at level 2 and level 3. It's just a one-time payment. And the remainder of the cost really depends on when you sign up. So we, as CFA Institute, really recommend that the sooner you decide to do this, you register as early as you can in the exam window, and get the earlier price. So obviously that's an incentive at $940 US. But there's actually another reason, and that is the sheer volume of content that you have to learn, as indicated by the 300 hours. You really need to spend as much time as you possibly can fitting that in around your life. So we do recommend that the earlier you decide and commit, that you do that for study reasons and obviously for price benefit. If you choose to register during the standard registration, then that has gone up to $250 US. We do offer scholarships. In fact, we awarded over 10,000 globally. We want to make the program accessible. So that is an option. If you want to see if you would be eligible, then please do go to our website and you can see whether this would be something that's applicable to you. And this is where I'm going to hand over to Aisha. So over to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for joining and thank you for hosting me and Katie today. It's a pleasure being here with all of you. My name is Aisha Silva. I'm the manager for client partnerships and solutions here at the CFA Institute. So today I would like to talk to you obviously about the membership with CFA, the types of memberships actually, because whether whether you are a CFA charter holder or not, there are different types of memberships you can apply for, as well as the main requirements to become one. In addition to that, I would also like to talk to you a bit more about the other programs that we have that could be of interest to maybe to you in the future, or to your colleagues or employees as well. So, such as the Investment Foundation Certificate, the ESG program, as well as the Data Science Certificate that we have just launched today. So we are very proud of that. So I will tell you about the main characteristics of these programs and how they will benefit whoever decides to take it moving forward. So first of all, in regards to work experience, obviously, you need to complete all 3 levels of the CFA charter, and you need to have at least 4,000 hours of experience, relevant experience. So it may sound like a lot, but if you look at the years, it's around, let's say, 2 to 3 years, I would say, depending obviously on how many hours you work in a week. So all of this will be provided on a website, so all the guidance and everything will be there on the website. But when you apply for the regular membership, you will be asked to describe your current or prior job responsibilities to demonstrate, obviously, that you qualify for the membership. Your experience should involve at least 50% of your time evaluating or applying financial, economic, or statistical data as part of the investment decision-making process. Or you could be supervising as well, those who conduct that, or you could be involved in teaching as well. So we take into account all of this. So we also take into consideration internships. They could be paid or unpaid. That's absolutely fine. And it doesn't matter whether you have this experience prior to the charter, during the charter, or after the charter. So that's also absolutely fine with us. However, it's very important to note that managing your own investments or the investments of your family or friends without compensation does not qualify. So please be aware of that. So Katie, next slide. So another thing we require from you is professional references. So when you apply for membership, you will be asked to provide these references in support of your application. So we will require 2 professional references if one is an active regular member of the society you're applying for. We require 3 professional references if none of them are active member of the society that you're applying for. So this is another thing you need to take into account. So next slide. For those who have not completed the CFA charter, or you don't really intend to do that in the future, we still have a membership plan actually. Oh, sorry. That's the other slide. Sorry. Before I go to that, after submitting your application, it's important. This is quite important to remember. Make sure that all of your contact details is up to date, because to avoid any delays with that. Once the application has been approved, you will be receiving an email with the notification. Make sure that you sign the membership agreement. You need to fill your professional conduct statement, and you need to obviously pay your annual dues. But like I said, please make sure everything is up to date with your contact information and everything. Next slide. Thank you. So as I was saying before, if you have not completed the charter, or obviously you don't intend to do that, you still have an opportunity to become a member. So if you would like to be part of the society as well as the CFA Institute, receiving benefits from both of the entities, there's one plan, which is the affiliate membership. If you decide to opt only for the local society membership, and you can pay those dues and join the local society. The affiliate membership obviously will give you the opportunity to receive all of the CFA member benefits, excluding the voting rights. While the local society membership will allow you to access obviously the local society benefits, including networking and programs. I would like to highlight how, and advise you to speak to the Poland Society. I know that they have amazing initiatives, projects, events all the time. So if you get a chance, please reach out to them, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you with that. So briefly, that's all about the CFA program for today. There's a QR code here if you guys want to scan it and look at all the information online. So Katie, let's keep that on for a few seconds. Okay, I think that's sufficient time. So now, beyond the CFA program, so now I would like to take you through 3 of the most, I would say, popular programs that we have here at the CFA Institute, which could be beneficial for you in the future, or it could be beneficial for your colleagues. It could be beneficial for your employees if you're an employer, particularly for people that are in support roles. I know the CFA is known for the charter, that's our bread and butter, but we have been working with experts, practitioners around the world, and as well as firms, to understand what are the demands of the market. So these are 3 of the main programs that we have: the Investment Foundation Certificate, the ESG Investing, as well as the Data Science Certificate that we have just launched. So the Investment Foundation Certificate, I will briefly tell you about that. This is a program which is awarded by the CFA Institute itself. It's an online, very comprehensive program that provides the fundamental understanding of the global investment industry. So this is a program that we had that back in 2013, actually, that was launched as Claritas Investment Certificate. This is something which is, I would say, designed for people that work in support roles in the investment industries, such as IT, HR, operations, project management. So it's catered to people coming from all areas of expertise, as well as marketing. So it's suitable for people that don't necessarily have a finance background, but they are working within that industry. So we have been actually talking to several societies around the world, and we have been told that people who are interested in taking the CFA level 1 are interested in the Investment Foundation Certificate as well, because it gives you that holistic, fundamental understanding of what it is. So, this can be purchased by you as an individual, or Katie, can we go back to the previous one for a second? Yeah, it could be purchased by you as an individual or as a firm. We can provide the vouchers for that. There's a 12 months, you have 12 months to complete upon registration. So if you want, we can provide teaching packs as well to the firms, and it's $350 per learner, and everything is 100% online, very flexible, and you study at your own pace, and you can check your progress as well. So really, really flexible. Next slide. So in regards to the core modules and the content of the program, so really, briefly telling you, like, it helps you develop an understanding of the investment industry, from include structures of the investment industry, functioning, ethical considerations, the forces, as well as the vocabulary, the communication skills that you need, and that will give you the confidence that will ultimately enhance credibility within your organizations. So this is basically what these programs give you. I think the final course that we have, Serving the Greater Good, is quite interesting, because it covers ESG, diversity, inclusion, ethics and standards. All of these frameworks will be included in the program. So once again, gives you this 365-degree view of the investment industry. Thank you. Next slide. So yeah, we will keep the QR code here if you want to, have a look through that. Thank you, Katie. Right, so the second program that I would like to talk to you about today is the ESG investing. This is a really popular program at the moment, and 100% of institutional investors as well as 77% of retail investors have interest in this program. It's essentially a course that provides practical as well as practical applicational and technical knowledge in the fast growing field of ESG. The certificate is actually recognized by the UN Principles for Responsible Investment. And obviously this program is once again awarded by the CFA Institute. You will take around 6 months to complete the program, 100 to 130 hours of study, and you will have a final assessment, which is multiple choice. This program is going to cost you $795 US. And if you want to retake as well, there is a possibility. Once again, everything will be online. There's the learning ecosystem like the other programs. You study at your own pace. You can track your progress. So it's really, really flexible. And I know how important it is for you to have that flexibility. I'm sure that most of you are working full time. So yeah, I myself am a student, so I understand how important that is. Thank you, Katie. So basically, in a nutshell, you will get an understanding of the context for different approaches to responsible and specifically the consideration of environmental, social, and governance factors within this industry, within the investment and financial industry. This is essentially a deep dive into ESG, where you will cover topics on ESG analysis, valuation, integration, and ultimately to understand how these concepts affect your industry and company performance, for instance, security valuation as across a different range of asset classes. So it's once again a very holistic program that gives you this broad overview of ESG and how that relates to the investment industry. But if you, as you can see here, these are some of the core modules that you will cover. There's a QR code for this as well, Katie, if you can put that on. Thank you. But if you have any questions, please feel free to put that on the chat. Okay, next slide. So this is the final program that I would like to talk to you about. This is the data science certificate, and we have just launched it, and we are very proud to announce that. This is a program that we believe is ideal for investment professionals who want to develop a basic practical understanding of data science applications, specifically within the investment process, and obviously to be able to act as a translator, I would say, between the data science team, investment professionals, and non-expert clients. So once again, these programs as well gives you that holistic overview. There is no experience required per se. However, we believe having some understanding of investment and finance would definitely help you with the curriculum. You will require 90 to 100 hours of study to complete this full program. It once again is 100% online. It's really flexible, and you can take it at your own pace, course by course. So you don't take everything at once. You take it one course at a time. The program is $1,399 per member, and $1,599 for the non-members. There's a final assessment that you will have to do as well for this program. But once again, it's really, really flexible. The next slide. So like I said, there are 5 different courses to complete, from data and statistics foundation, machine learning, etc., with the final assessment. So briefly talking about what you will learn, the data science certificate will take you through practical applications such as Python, which is really important nowadays. You will learn techniques for presenting data and the importance of data story, how machine learning applications address investment problems. For example, you will be able to understand how to apply the CFA Institute ethical decision-making framework to machine learning and dilemmas, as well as you will be able to kind of learn the concepts and their application to real world, which is at the end ultimately the most important thing. How do you apply this to real world, to your job, to your firm? So understanding the investment problems and to really explain this to a non-expert audience and clients. So this is what you will be learning in this data science certificate, and I believe this is a really, really important program, because we do our job based on data on a day-to-day basis. That's how we understand the market and ultimately use for our decision-making process. So this is basically what I wanted to talk to you about today. I know that you are interested in the CFA program, but we believe that these three particular courses will be really beneficial, perhaps for you in the future or for your colleagues or employees. Thank you very much for your time, and I would like to pass the mic back to Professor Jajuga.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Well, this was very comprehensive, and it gives you not only the CFA program, which is the most important, I think, for people who join us here, but also the other. I'm particularly excited because I didn't know that the launch will be today. Actually, I know that it will be, very, very, very soon. But great. Okay. So first of all, I would like, before we go, there are some questions on the chat, so we may go browse through them. But before, I just want to mention that our society, we are willing to help a lot, whatever we can do to candidates. We know that candidates from Poland are performing usually very well. Of course, not everybody's passing at the first sight. That's clear. But I'm also pleased to hear that you will open. Was it Katie? Was it in May 2024? Right? We said they opened the third testing center, right?
Yes,
was it May?
Correct. May 2020.
This year,
Yeah,
okay,
the May
okay.
exam
Yeah,
sitting.
I mean, because there's a plenty of candidates. I remember when the exam was in the room, there was a big hall and big building to accommodate people at the same time on Saturday. Okay, from whole country. Yes, so we will help a lot. We are, of course, not. Please don't ask us about the questions of the exam, because we are not preparing exams of the CFA Poland. But we will help, and one of the possibilities, and we explored this several times before. We launch courses, preparatory courses, especially for level 1, and we have intention to continue this depending on the online courses, mostly online courses. Although I remember the first intake was in stationary form, was face-to-face. But then because of pandemic, we had to move to online. So we still have intention to continue this. And now it's, since there are so many testing windows. Before, people were heading for June. So everything was heading for June, but now we are very flexible in this. Okay, so shall we go now to the questions on chat? I think that would be a good idea, and I'll just read the question and okay, just give me a hint, give me a moment. Yes, there are maybe like 6-7 questions. Let's see. I will start from the first one, so I'll go to the top. And the first question comes from a person called KG. Will there be any further changes regarding the L2 level 2 aside from those practical skills you mentioned? Will there be any supporting material aimed at people who pass level 1 without those practical skills modules?
Okay.
Who is going to take this, Katie?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So
regarding
regarding level 2, the practice skills modules, there aren't any other changes to the curriculum apart from the introduction of those, and that's for the May 24 exam, which you can register for 9 months before. So if you're registering in August for level 2, then those will become into effect. If you are to do an earlier exam booking in 2023, then there'll be no change at all. There aren't any other changes to the curriculum. We are always updating our curriculum to keep it current in terms of the content, but no, in terms of the structure of the program, the practical skills module is the only change from May 2024 for level 2. And in terms of support for people that missed level 1, so this is actually coming up quite a lot for our existing charter holders that would like to have access to the practice skills modules as well. And so CFA Institute is very much listening and exploring how we can service this to our charter holders and our members, so that this is accessible. So they're just exploring through the licensing aspect. So I think I could be confident in saying it's coming. It's just that, you know, we're not there exactly how we can deliver that just yet. We're concentrating on introducing them in at level 1 and level 2 from 2024. From to aim pass level 1. Yes, and so if you were to join level 2, I believe there's a Python advanced, but also Python fundamentals will be in there. So you can obviously start there if you want to, and you'd have access to all 4 at level 2. In fact, I've joined a presentation yesterday by Chris Weesey, who is the head of all of the educational programs. And he did say that you would have access to all 4 at level 2. So you only have to do one of those practice skills modules, but if you want that content, it will be accessible at level 2, all 4 of those. So I think that answers that question.
Yeah, I think this is good news, basically what you said. And I also would like to mention that in terms of, in terms of registration, because you mentioned that, for May 2024, et cetera, my recommendation would be also not wait too long before you register, not only because you pay higher fee, but also because there are deadlines, and deadline is not one day before exam to register. It's much, much more. And people who already took exam, they know that this is, at least 3 months before. So you don't wait too long and with the registration. The next question comes from Katarzyna Perez. Will you still produce the printed versions of books for L1, L2, and L3, so a university library buys them and students of the CFA affiliated program can read them? There was such a case before, right? Okay, with printed versions still.
Yeah, so short answer is yes. Slightly longer is if you just go to our website, we have a provider, Wiley, it's accessible there to purchase. If you are a candidate and want to purchase them for yourself, you can actually do that within your learning ecosystem. So yes, you can still. I actually am quite an old school person and like a highlighter, so I can appreciate that aspect of things. Yes.
So basically, university library can buy this, put on the shelves, and if people want to go to the library and read, that's fine, which was the case also before. And also, as I understand, that was not years ago, that if you are not candidate, you couldn't buy materials. But now, since several years ago, I think it's possible that somebody who's not candidate, but just want to learn what's inside without being candidate, can purchase material, probably also electronic version, not only a printed version by Wiley, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so that's possible. So you can have. Okay, next question from Mr. Sergiusz. There are 2 questions, I believe. First question, does part-time work experience as a corporate financial analyst count to 4,000 hours of work experience needed to get a license? The job is directly linked to financial markets, but it's not full-time. Okay.
I can.
So that's the first. Maybe we go. Yeah, go on.
I can maybe answer that first part of the question.
Aisha, go ahead.
Yeah. So whether it's part-time or full-time, I mean, Katie, please correct me if I'm wrong, but whether it's part-time or full-time, it doesn't really matter as long as you have as long as you have relevant experience. Within investment and finance, you can count that for the 4,000 hours that you need. It could be internships as well. It could be paid internships, unpaid internship. That's absolutely fine as long as you have the relevant experience. So that's the short answer. So yes, it does count.
Yeah, I think there is no answer that one size fits all. So basically, when you apply, you'll say what you did. Then you provide the references with description, and then of course there is decision of the CFA Institute, roughly speaking, about whether it qualifies for 4,000 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
The second question about Katie, you want to add something? Second question
Yeah,
about
so it's,
from
you
this
are
person.
a fourth,
I am,
yeah, fourth year.
yeah,
So you
I
see
am a
it's
fourth-year
possible.
student of law school. It is a master degree, which is above bachelor. There was no undergraduate level prior to it because in Poland we don't have basic undergraduate level for law and for medicine, for example. We do have for economics, but not this. Is it possible to take part in the program? If yes, is it possible to take part in the 2023 level 1 session? I will be on the last year of university on the exam day or no earlier than 2024. Yeah,
So
Katie.
the university change actually came into effect, I believe, earlier. So it's not from February 24. We've just sort of encapsulated it in the sort of promotion of what the changes are. So yes, you can sit now because you are well and truly through your second, past your second year, when you'd be sitting. So yes, you could sit in 23 for that if you chose to do so.
Yeah, but Katie, can I ask also, because even in the previous version, when you have to be on the third year of your studies, if somebody is on the fourth year of the studies, that still would apply in the past, right?
Yeah, yes, you could sit if you're in.
Okay, good.
Yeah, as long as you've done sort of,
Yeah, sure. Because I understand that it might be not bachelor level; it's only the level which is the master level. Okay. Next from Joanna, the improved recognition for level 1 and 2. Will this apply for exams passed in 2023?
That I'm going to be honest and say I don't know, and I will find out, and I don't know if we can email you direct or email the group afterwards. I've asked my colleagues, but as far as I'm aware, it's for FY24, but I will ask the question if we can.
Okay, so I would like to ask also, Joanna can send also email to our office and we will facilitate maybe, it should be clarified. Okay, sure. And
I can imagine you wouldn't be the only person asking. I imagine a lot of people will be coming to CFA and saying, I have completed level 1 3 years ago and I want to indicate this to my employer. So I would like to think the answer is yes to that, and I will confirm.
Yeah, that should be checked, because anyway, you can still, even if this is not recognized for the people who passed 5 years ago or so, if you put this on your CV that you passed, it still will count. It will count by your employer, I believe, right? Regardless that there is no badge or recognition given explicitly by CFA Institute. Okay, I think this is maybe the last one as I see, maybe the last one or not. Yeah. KG, Mr. KG or Miss KG, does experience at legal compliance audit internal control functions at the financial institution found if it's related to investments? Again, there's no aside result, but please answer.
Yeah, so I am wary to sort of say without knowing a lot about what your day-to-day role is in depth. So I can't, a portfolio manager, analyst, very, very likely, but obviously there's so many different roles in so many different organizations. So what I would say is we have lots of guidance on our website, and when it comes to doing your application, it'll be very clear of where you need to focus and maybe spend some more time. So we have a dedicated team that answer these questions, and when that time comes, I would go and look there on the website. Sorry not to be of more help.
I think it's important to specify all the different responsibilities you had in your role, everything you've been doing on a day-to-day basis. So in your application. So I think that will help the CFA Institute or the society to understand what you have been doing. And that could be relevant, that could not be relevant. So it depends really on your day-to-day responsibilities. I think that's the last question.
I think it's also, but I would add to this question also that everything depends what is written in the application and what reference you have 3 references, what they mention, your supervisor mentions the references, and that basically that's the most important. And also the question is that it's quite obvious, I think, but you need to have 4,000 hours, but it's not for the same job, not for the same company, not for the same internship, etc., etc. So you can collect them, if I'm correct, that used to be the case before. You can collect them throughout many years, even this 4,000 hours. Before it was 48 months, I believe, but now it's changed several years ago. It changed to hours rather than months. Oh yeah, that is the next question from Mr. Camille. Please confirm, will all the materials be accessible for current CFA level 2 candidates after they finish the program?
No. So
Will
when
all
you,
materials be accessible?
yeah, so
okay.
when you complete the program, then the learning ecosystem access ends there. But you do, once you've completed and become a member, have access to refresher readings. But that aspect of the curriculum is closed, and then you would sign up to level 3 and have access to the next.
Yeah, basically there is this member refresher readings each year is updated, and there is a plenty. I don't know now. It's probably 30 at least different readings for each level. So, for example, you graduate from CFA in 2024 or whatever, and then in 2027-8 you want to go on with your continuing education, let's say for yourself. Then you can use this if you are a member, of course, of CFA Institute. If you pay your dues, etc., you still have an access for free. At least it's the case now to this material. So you can still refresh things, and not only refresh but update, because after 5 years the world will be completely different in terms of finances, and there will be new things in the CFA program, I believe. Yes,
So
one more. That's oh yeah, there is a Mr. Kami said, what I mean is machine learning modules, etc. So that was about materials accessible for current CFA level 2. Will they be accessible? I mean, they will be, but not ecosystem. That's what they learned, right? Katie?
Will materials be accessible for current level 2?
Once again, because that was the question, will the materials be accessible for current level 2 candidates after they finish the program? And then there was additional, what I mean is machine learning modules, etc.
Is that the practice skills modules, or
I think that wasn't.
so no, you do.
Hello, it might be easier for me to talk. So what I mean is that those new materials, those practical ones that are available for future CFA level 2 and 1 actually candidates in 2024, will they be accessible for current candidates? Like, will I be able to? Okay,
I understand. So, well, no, sorry. So I understand what you're saying, and the answer is no. So from 2024, the practice skills modules will be incorporated into the learning ecosystem. If you're studying now, then they won't be there. And what we are looking at doing is for charter holders and members that have missed out along the way of these practice skills modules, we're looking at how we can sort of package those and provide them to you, and we're just exploring the licensing around that. So it is coming soon, but it currently isn't available.
Okay, thank you. I didn't get it. Thank you.
Okay, now there's one more question. I see, Joanna, and one more. Is it possible to buy past papers questions for practicing, or is it practicing on real exam questions only available through mock exams?
So in terms of past papers, no, we don't.
Exams, right?
Yeah, we don't do that. So it would be through the mock exams and the practice questions in the learning ecosystem, or if you were to use an external prep provider, they would have additional. Or from next year, we will offer the additional practice questions, but we don't sell past papers.
But they're quite. I mean, they're designed in such a way that it prepares you for the final exam. So it's. Yeah, all of them are quite relevant. But obviously, like Katie said, we don't really offer past papers, but the mock exams that you receive are the ones that are suitable for you to prepare yourself for the final exam. Yeah.
I believe it's better to look at mock exams which are prepared for the current exam rather than looking at past papers that were available for the exam in 2018-19, because curriculum is changing also, so it might be, part of this might be not relevant. So looking at past papers would be probably not a good idea in the sense, if you are registered and if you have access to this ecosystem, you have 2 mock exams and you can still maybe get something more, but for current exam, right?
Yeah, and it is because we're regularly updating our curriculum. So for example, with ESG 2 years ago, there was 10 readings, now there's 23. So it's always evolving, the curriculum. So past papers wouldn't be a great point. Yeah.
No, right. I would be very cautious about using these past things because things are changing, and that that better to stick to current curriculum, to current. Of course, there are some things from the past which are still relevant because these things are not changing that much. But some things are time value of money didn't change in last 100 years probably. Let's say so. But okay. But there are many things that are new, right? Okay. Are there any other questions? Because I don't see anything new on chat. If this is true, I would like to probably thank you very much. Thanks, Katie and Aisha, for for all this, because we learn a lot. Especially these changes are very, very significant. And also, I think that you can still think about the other certificates, right? They might be, investment foundations. I remember this was many years ago. I mean, 12 years ago, something like this probably. I was one of the people who were preparing parts of previous investment foundations. You mentioned the name Claritas, but I remember the first name was Everest. So Everest was, I don't remember, 2010 or something like this. And then it looked very nice because it was very wide knowledge, not very deep knowledge, but it gets you. Aisha, you used the name holistic in this sense, holistic in this narrow sense, holistic, right? I think that was very good idea, and I'm very pleased that it came back. And of course, it's not, you should not call it light CFA exam, because I think people had the intention that investment foundation is light CFA. It's not light CFA. It's designed for different type of career basically, but it could be a good step, just for your training. If you think about CFA, I do my investment foundations, and then we will see how it works. And I'll go to more, how to say, the exam that needs more time, etc., etc. That's probably the same as people who are in Poland. Polish people here, I can say that this is the same as some people who want to get Polish license of investment advisor. They start with the broker license first because it's a little bit easier, right? So it might be the same here. So I would recommend, because knowledge is wide, is maybe not very, very deep, but it will help much wider audience. So people in PR departments, HR departments, accounting departments, marketing departments in the banks and financial institutions. For them, first step would be definitely investment foundations.
Absolutely. I think it does add that credibility as an organization when you have people, your employees, having that foundational knowledge of what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. So it's really, really important. Thank you for explaining that so clearly, Mr. Professor Jajuga. I completely agree. And I think even the data science program, I think that's relevant to, and it can be useful for anybody.
Exactly the same.
We are in the
exactly
21st
the
century
same, because
now.
there is, if I look at these new things, and I've been doing this for AI for 40 years now. I think that there is a huge gap between those who try to produce these systems and those who are end users, and that is not possible to have such situation. That end users, they don't understand what they are using. In finance, we will say, you want to invest in something? Do you understand instrument? Do you know what is stock, what is hedge fund, etc.? If you don't understand, don't touch it either. Try to understand, and this is exactly the same, right? Okay. Thank you very much, Katie. Thank you, Aisha, for this. And I would like to thank all the people who spent, 90 minutes of time just to learn about this. And whatever could be helpful from our side, by our side, I mean CFA Society Poland, we of course are at your disposal, because we are also trying to get people to our Polish community speaking in the advanced level of finance, not just blah blah blah, but this is really advanced level of finance. Thank you very much, and good luck. Have a nice May weekend, because we are coming close to very, 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 very long May weekend in Poland, almost endless weekend, right? Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. Bye.